Manchester United, the game itself, it was a weird. What did you make of it, Jamie? Because obviously KJ and I spoke about it on Saturday. We were on the highlight show on the terrace. What did you make of the game? You know, it started off. United started off very well, scored a goal, got a Chelsea player sent off, dominating, and then got a man sent off themselves. What did you make of Man United? Because there hasn't really been a lot of talk on how Man United played in this game. It's all been about the red cards and it's if you actually read the headlines of Sky Sports the morning after, you would have thought Man United lost, to be honest with you. It was a bit weird. But what did you make of the game in itself?
Yeah, it's weird. Just when you were talking about that as well, you kind of look at the situation between Man City and Man United more or less on like a similar league position, and the talk about them is very different in terms of like how they're going about things. And I think there's probably a bit more give with Man City because of obviously what they've done previously, but yeah, I think the performance, it's kind of what you would have expected. Maybe like a reaction to maybe some of the criticism, something that like Ruben Amorim has been looking for. Like I've said 100%, he needs to be a little bit more adaptable. But I think to sack him now after he didn't want to come in, and I've said this on the Football Terrace, sack him now after he didn't want to come in the middle of a season after not having any of the players that he wanted to work with, then giving him 250 million and sacking him 6 games into a season just doesn't make sense to me. And it kind of screams no preparation in terms of like where he's actually want to go. So I think he got the response that he wanted. In terms of the game itself, like I think United started on the front foot. Sanchez, yes, a blood of rush to the head, and he's obviously had to get a red card. That obviously helped. But like, you still have to go on and maybe take it to a very good Chelsea team in terms of like they've just come off the back of like hammering PSG in the Club World Cup. Their season maybe been a little bit up and down at the start, but I think like they still have a lot of options. I think Palmer obviously went off an injury, but United, like when we think about United and say the last few games, they haven't really had that really cutting edge in terms of like obviously maybe converting the chances, and I think they did that really well against Chelsea. I think with United, they're gonna be it's gonna be up and down. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna have moments where maybe you play well, you don't take your chances, you don't get the result that you want, and then you'll maybe some games where you'll just get it over the line. And I think that's just kind of where he's at right now. But I think like be as bad or be as good with your criticism. Be as good with your praise for them getting the result and in a tough fixture under the circumstances. Like the weather was horrific. That would have a big impact on like how maybe they wanted to play. Maybe it played into a little.
It's been raining.
Yeah, it's been raining. But like that would like going out and kind of putting on a show like that and like. I think they deserve a lot of credit because they have been come under a lot of pressure. It's just about finding that consistency, which will obviously be the big issue for United. But yeah, I think like, listen, it's not been the start of the season that they would have wanted, but like I think they will have kind of 8th, 9th place finish, and it will be a little bit up and down because you're still trying to figure a few things out.
You know what's funny about you? What you just said there about it's not the start we would have wanted. Actually, okay, if we're being honest. 7 points is actually the start we probably would have expected. 2 wins, 2 draw, and 2 losses. We lost to the 2 teams we probably thought we would in Man City and Arsenal. The draw, we probably would have thought the draw with Fulham would be this game. The draw with Chelsea probably draw at home, and we would have beat Fulham and Burnley. So we are in and around where we probably thought we would have been anyway. Or any realistic balanced Man United fan would have thought, okay, this is probably where we would be. 7 points, decent. It's like an okay start. The problem is I think 2 problems. One is the biggest one, which is the Grimsby game. I think that is still like on a lot of our minds because of how that went down. It's a disgrace. Like I said, it's a sackable offense to lose to Grimsby and go out to Grimsby in the cup. And then 2, it's this idea of hope in performance. So we obviously had such a terrible season last season that Amorim has had his preseason. We've got a few new players, and the idea was that from this preseason we'll see shoots of hope in terms of how we're going to do. We may not be the best, but we will have shoots of hope in how we'll play, and we can see how much we've improved, and we will have some confidence, something to hold on to as United fans for the season. What's happened is that we had that moment of hope against Arsenal. Throughout most of the game, we looked pretty threatening. didn't convert our chances. We end up losing. Fine. Then we saw 20 minutes, the opening 20 minutes of Fulham. Again, like, okay, hopeful. And then the levels dropped again. And then that maintained for like the last 3 games where it's like levels are dropped. You're not seeing the same kind of intensity. We go against Grimsby, absolutely awful game. Against who do I have after that? Against Burnley. Again, we looked great. But then second half, we allowed Burnley to get back into the game. And we have to get a last minute penalty to win the game again. Not really encouraging in terms of performance. And then obviously Man City were just abject as well. So that is why we're in this position where even though our points reflect where we probably would have wanted to be at the start of the season, the hope of performance has been so mixed that it's hard to have like that. For United fans, have that balance of actually, we actually where we need to be, like X, Y, and Z. We're not really seeing as much positives as we would like. And even in that Chelsea game, outside, like me and Terry haven't spoke about this yet. So actually, no, we did a little bit, to be fair, during the game and stuff. But outside of the win and outside of the like the 2 goals and the performance in the first half before Casemiro went, after that point, it again turned into sweaty, squeaky bum time again. That we couldn't make a game easy for ourselves again because Casemiro wanted to. I don't know what possessed him to be it.
But it was just Casemiro that did that.
Yeah. But in that moment. But then you can then argue, is the reason why that happened was their lack of control in the midfield again. We was very frantic at times in that game. I think there's times where Chelsea played us through us pretty easily, considering they did have 10 men. There's a good few runs from a couple of their players going through. There's a bit of control where you're like, were we as controlled as we needed to be in that game? And then obviously we go down to 10 men, and then Ruben decides, you know what, instead of going for the 3rd goal to kill it off the game, we're gonna consolidate that game, be more structurally sound, and hopefully not lose the lead. And we got that in the end, but they're still in that game. There's still things that you look at as like, can we improve? You know what I mean? So yeah, it is a big mixed bag for Man United. But if we go on and beat Brentford well, and we beat Sunderland, we would have what?
They're big ifs.
Points. Pardon?
They're big ifs.
No. That's the thing. We would have 13 points. We'll look at the start of the season and be like, you know what? We're not in a bad spot right now. So this is the big thing. Like you say, it's a big if. We have not seen Man United win back-to-back games in like over a year. That was our first back-to-back home wins in the Premier League for, I think, 6 months or something like it for a while. So we now need the bigger test is next week against Brentford. Can we go and get that win?
It is, but I still feel what we're doing is we're looking beyond the game, and it's pissing me off. I'm sitting here frustrated again. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is I understand and I agree that go beat Brentford now, go beat Sunderland and let's review it. But what we're still not getting credit for is the fact we beat Chelsea. What we're still not getting credit for is that we were, including me, I didn't think we could win this game. We started amazingly. 2 very good chances in the opening 2 minutes. No one's talking about it. Look at the BBC, look at Sky, look at everyone who's put highlights out. They don't include those first 2 chances. They cut them out. Why? It's agenda. We ripped Chelsea to shreds in the opening 4 minutes. They couldn't cope. This is Chelsea, the team that was seen as the favourites for the game by a country mile, the team that are world champions, the team that have rightfully been lauded for weeks and months now. We absolutely tore them to shreds to a point where their goalkeeper panicked. By the way, we were in on goal. We were about to tap a ball in. The Athletic wrote an article saying, should it have been a red card? Because it was covering defenders. They weren't covering. They were behind the play. So what I'm angry about is, from my perspective as a United fan, there's barely been a single piece of analysis praising how we started the game, how we got into the lead, the dominance. I thought we did control the game when it was 10v11. We slowed the game down. They had around 30% of the ball, not a single shot on our goal. Yes, there was times where they'll wriggle through, but that's what happens when you were trying to attack the way they were. The mistake we made was Casemiro as an individual. He panicked. That being said, I saw that exact same foul about 8 times yesterday across the 3 games I watched, and only one person got a yellow card. I still blame Cass. He shouldn't have given the referee a decision to make. I've always felt in football that when you're 11v10, I always feel referees are looking to even things up. I've always felt that, just my view on the game. Mm-hmm. But I was really happy with Man United. Second half, look, I would have kept Šeško on the pitch. I would have taken Ahmad off. That's it. And I wouldn't have taken Maguire off later. Absolutely. I think that criticism is fair. But he did make the right decisions because we won the game. And what I find, there's some people online that have annoyed me this weekend. You've got all the result merchants who every time we don't win, I'm talking, again, this isn't you. I'm not talking about you. If you're balanced in this, we're on the same side. Don't get your knickers in a twist. All right. Don't be a baby. Don't be a little baby. For me, if you say that results are all that matter, that's it. There should be no complaints at all this weekend. You can't, you cannot nitpick. You've got no legs to stand on. Equally, the TPFs, the toxic positivity fans, attacking everybody that's put any criticism upon the team or Ruben. It's like, you can shut up as well, because the criticism in the other games has also been justified. Again, I'm talking about coming from balanced people. People like myself that just on Friday was lambasted for saying the manager's made all these mistakes, but the players have also need to be clinical, need to take our chances. Maybe one of the biggest criticisms I'd put on us in that first half is Bruno not putting the ball through to Ahmad to make it 3-0. I get why he was trying to feed in Šeško, but he shouldn't have done it, really. He should have played in Ahmad, go 3-0 up. But then Ahmad, again, in the City game, Ahmad should have put Mbeumo through on goal for a one-on-one, overhits the pass by a country mile, goes out for a throw. Ahmad should have tapped the ball in, open goal, kill the game off against Burnley. Didn't do it. Missed his chance as an example. Fulham game, Ahmad not attacking his fullback for the entirety of the game. The opportunity, open goal, keeper's out of his position, square it to Šeško, taps it in, the 007 bullshit goes, the game's killed off, doesn't do it. Criticize that. And the reason why I'm calling that out is because as fans, we've lacked balance a lot of us have lacked balance in our criticism over the opening 5 games. It's either all the manager or there's no criticism. And I sit there and think, where's the balance gone? You know? So for me, I was very, very happy with the win. Very, very happy with large parts of the performance. There are areas I would nitpick and speak on, because I believe in you can criticize things when you win and you can praise some things when you lose and everything else in between. And I think we should be advocating for that balance. But I think overall, I was annoyed that United didn't really get any sort of praise. The fact we forced those mistakes. It wasn't as though there was a sending off because Caicedo got angry and punched someone. The red card happened because of our play. And if it was the other way around, it would have been all about how we got dragged out of position, how we weren't prepared, how the three at the back system let them down again. You know, it's that would have been the case, and there was none of that. And this is where United fans have got to realize, like, drop your agendas for a moment and protect your football club at times. Just at times, blindly, yes, just back your football club. At times, go, actually, I am a Man United fan. I am a supporter. It's in the job description. The media's been a bit disrespectful here. Back in my club, we won. Get behind everybody. Even if you can, I'm sorry, Staffy, if you're watching, that does mean sometimes you objectively back your club. I don't agree with everything we're doing at the minute, but I am a United fan and I'm going to stand with United, not with my rivals. For a moment, please. It'd be very, very nice to see that from our fan base, because I do think it's crazy. Terry, why are you sticking it to Ahmad? Not just Ahmad. I'm using Ahmad as an example of someone who hasn't been great this season.
Because he started off poor. Let's be honest. You know, like we all love Ahmad. I love Ahmad. You know, I know Terry loves Ahmad, so he's not saying this out of an agenda. He hasn't been up to standard, like his standard that he set, especially last season. I think Mbeumo, as much as he's been a bright spark, has at times where in attack he's let us down with a poor pass or poor shot. Like, he should have scored like 2 goals against Burnley, but he missed his chances. Like, everyone has a part to play in why we're not as good as we are, and highlighting that isn't a bad thing. You know, like just saying that our favorite players are good play, even our good players aren't playing well, that's fine, because it's easy to go at people like listen, I don't like Bayindir. I despise Bayindir. But I can't go at him at every game because not every game he does a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, actually, no, he does, but not every game is his fault. You know, not every game is Luke Shaw's fault. Not every game is you know what I'm saying. So you have to balance it out.
Totally agree. And as Rob here said, United need to enjoy these moments. What's the point of football if you can't? It doesn't mean everything is sorted. But this is just it, and this is why I'm calling out the overly positive people and the overly negative people. You haven't got you win. Your first thought shouldn't be, I'm going to attack the people that rightfully criticize this. Equally, if you're a negative person, it's my message to you is no one is saying we're fixed. Maybe Staffy is. No one's saying we're fixed because we played some nice football and won a game, but we can enjoy the moment. That's why I've got a new series now on the Terrace. It's called Killing the Game. These attitudes towards football kill football, and I'm pushing back against it. Very happy we won. As David says here a bit earlier, though, as positive as we are trying to be, the lifeline that I agree is that lifeline that I agree we earned against Chelsea was still a lifeline. Nevertheless, the real test is Brentford, then Sunderland. I agree with you. I think we have to look at this as six. We have to fight our backsides off for 6 points. Get that. And then see where the land lies. I mean, I think if we win our next 2 games, there's a possibility we go into the next international break sitting somewhere inside the top 6.
Yeah.
More importantly than that, the game after that is Liverpool, which is very likely to be a loss. And my view is you beat Brentford well, you beat Sunderland well. A respectable defeat against Liverpool, which may happen, doesn't go down as badly as if we lose to Brentford and lose to Sunderland. It's very different. By the way, I want to beat Liverpool. I'm not using the whole free hit thing, but it's never. I always find in football, it's never just one result. It's the accumulation. A lot of people didn't completely lose their mind with Ten Hag after the 7-0 because we'd actually been on a really good 6-month period and just won a trophy. There was frustration and anger, but it would have been very different if we'd have been on a mad losing streak and then lost 7-0, because it's often the accumulation of these things. And then there is a result that is the kind of straw that broke the camel's back. And look, it's been reported that Sir Jim is going to be around the training ground for the next week. He's going to be very, very close to things, which I think is important to be there as well. The Old Trafford media also said Brentford and Sunderland is a must win for Amorim if he cares about his job. Well, he clearly cares about his job.
Is that Brentford away?
Brentford away, yes.
Brentford away. So we went
tough
there.
Tough game.
We've not had a good time at Brentford away in some time. Got slapped.
No, I agree.